We called up John Cooper.
You just said John Cooper. Bam!
Oh my goodness.
Yes, sir! This is JT! Cheers, League Nation! The Bucks are on the second round! Yeah!
That is 19 years let out by one man right there. 19 fucking years.
Wait. Before you go on your spiel.
Takes it himself. Him and Luke Shed have a miscommunication, but he stays with it.
Great
He's
comeback.
nice in the corner. Gets it back to Tavares. On. It goes in! It goes in! They've done it! The Leafs have finally done it! For the first time since 2004, the Leafs advance to the second round!
No, keep it going, keep it going.
Let's go! Let's go! Oh my God! Let's get a replay. Tavares, warrior-like shift. It goes off of, I think, Radish's foot. He goes go forehand. Keith and the Leafs go ballistic. Kyle Dubas, for the first time as Leafs GM, will see the second round. Oh. Keeps that play alive.
This episode is very, it's very much for only some people.
Handshakes in Tampa. That's 19 years of frustration.
I just wanted to play the full videos because, well,
It is
guys,
nothing.
for the first time since 2004, the Toronto Maple Leafs have won a playoff series, which means the Chicago Blackhawks first round pick from the Tampa Bay Lightning will be no worse than 20th overall. Let's go!
It's 19. It's 19 because the Panthers won.
Yeah.
No,
So it is officially the 19th overall pick. The
no,
Blackhawks have, with their first round selection in the 2 first round picks they got from Tampa Bay for Brandon Hagel, that pick will be in the teens. Maybe
No,
the
you got it
latest team,
wrong.
but it will be in the teens.
You got it wrong. The other team, the Florida Panthers, that beat the Boston Bruins, if they beat the Toronto Maple Leafs in the second round, isn't that weird? The Toronto Maple Leafs in the second round. Not only that.
No, that's not weird. They're always there.
No, you're right. The Florida Panthers, on the other hand, they what the hell are they doing here? What? How do they get to the second round?
Same exact record as the Nashville Predators. The Florida Panthers and the Predators have the exact same record.
I thought you meant in 2017, and I was
No, right now, same exact record this year. One of them just beat the team with the best regular season of all time in the first round in 7 games.
But
It's not Nashville Predators. Florida
I mean,
Panthers.
surely it was like a back and forth series. You know, both teams are just going hard. Like no team blew a lead, did they?
No, they wouldn't. No. Pierce, I don't even know how to fucking describe it. Leafs are in the second round. The record-setting best regular season of all time Boston Bruins just lost a 3-1 lead in the first round and were beat by the Florida fucking Panthers. I am on cloud fucking 9 right now. I don't even know what to fucking say. This is everything. This is the best thing I felt since the Hawks 2015 Cup win, and it's not even close. This is the best as a sports fan, and the Bears just had a great draft. Why? Because why not?
Hey, the Bengals
They
draft.
do that now. They do good in drafts now, I guess. That's not a thing. Pierce, this is like if the Stan Bowman regime did what Kyle Davidson just did last year, but probably even better. That does not. The Bears don't do that. The Bears don't do that.
Fucking great draft.
No.
so excited.
Oh yeah, this draft is great. Yes. Oh my
But
god.
how can we make this about the Bears? The Bears.
They are the Maple Leafs of the NFL, so you're always welcome to.
But also
Well-
on top of that, the Seattle Kraken in their first ever playoffs.
The Colorado Avalanche. Shout out to Dylan, who's not here today, and his brother Brian, who is a huge Seattle Kraken fan. They advanced to the second round as well in their second season in the NHL. They beat the reigning Cup champs, the Colorado Avalanche. Philip Grubauer gets revenge for being tossed to the dirt and having the worst season of his life with the Seattle Kraken last year. Gets to put on a show in Colorado and shut things down. How about that?
Where do we start, dude? We haven't done a regular podcast since the start of the playoffs when we did our prediction, which was 2 weeks ago from today.
Well, why don't we look at those? Let's look back at those. Let's see what you guys got right, what you guys got wrong. Why don't
I actually don't remember. I do not have my bracket.
That's because you're an actual opinion. You're a liberal. You're a pinko liberal Canadian that only listens.
Well, you know what, Jimmy? I don't think that.
Like you said, Pierce, some guy on Twitter said it, so it must be true. It's just
I
a
think I
first
got a
round.
lot more, to be honest.
It's just a first round win, Pierce. Why are these Leafs fans excited? What are they? What? It's not like it hasn't What is there to be excited about? There couldn't have been a curse lifted or anything. No, it's just a first round win. Let's take away all the context. Pierce, it's like I always say, don't let people be happy. Do what you can to bring them down every day.
That is a great point and a great thing to live by. Where do we start? Because again, last week we had Ben Pope on. We talked about the Blackhawks, and then the week before that would have been our playoff predictions. And 2 weeks have gone, and I hate being that person. Please like my sport, but Stanley Cup playoffs truly are the best. That first round, there's still one more game to be played before the second round starts tomorrow. New York Rangers, New Jersey Devils, Game 7. Yesterday, we mentioned earlier the Seattle Kraken beat the Colorado Avalanche. On any other day, that would be number one headline news. The Seattle Kraken, in their second year of existence, against the defending Stanley Cup champions, win in Game 7, taking 3 on the road against the Colorado Avalanche.
Mm-hmm.
Philip Grubauer not only had a horrible year last year, he didn't have a good year this year. He was below 900.
Mm-hmm.
Get revenge against his former team. Oliver Bjorkstrand should have had at least 5 goals last night. He hit 5 posts.
He hit 3 posts, right? I think it was 3 posts.
It felt like he hit more than that. He could
probably did. No, he probably did. That is a shooter that knows how to shoot, and yeah, he did that.
Surely no team gave him up for pennies on the dollar, but whatever. This would have been number one news any other night in the hockey world, but the Boston Bruins, historically good season, 65 wins, 135. Can you guess the gap of points between the Panthers and the Predators, or Panthers and the Predators? Jesus, because we're talking about that earlier. The Panthers and the Bruins.
43.
You got it. 43.
They would not stop saying it on the broadcast. There's a 43-point difference between these teams. This is the biggest since when the
I think it's the biggest of all time, from what I remember.
It's I think second biggest, because I believe there's a 50-point difference with I think they said the Red Wings and I forget what other team it was. It was a 90s matchup, but I digress. This is up there with anything. This is up there with everything. And by the way, that biggest all time, they didn't win that series. Florida Panthers.
The Cardiac Cats, man.
Pierce, you take it away.
I just want to say this about the Bruins. This is the worst collapse of at least the Cap era. We've been all watching hockey. The first year,
we watched the Blackhawks Predators series.
Yeah.
We've seen collapses.
Here's the thing,
watched the Leafs since 2013. I know collapses.
Here's the thing, though. At least with the Blackhawks that year, we're like, okay, maybe Nashville could take it on. 4 games, losing streaks happen. It happened in the regular season.
Pecorine happens.
It happened to be the playoffs. You just got called at the right time, or at the wrong time, rather, and then your stupid, awful GM front office
reacted the way he did, and your president reacted the way he did to a player being from a different country, Russian, Panarin. Yeah, we know this song and dance.
Yeah, we've said it many a times on the podcast. This Boston Bruins team, another one, 2019, Tampa Bay Lightning, Columbus Blue Jackets. Like, Tampa Bay should have won that series. Like, their team was so good, but Columbus were at least like, okay, maybe they can take a couple games, maybe make it interesting. And they had 60-plus wins, and we're still like, even when Tampa lost, we're like, okay, they're probably going to come back, have another good year, and still going to be cup contenders. And then they won back-to-back Stanley Cups, go 3 straight Stanley Cup finals until they lost to the Toronto Maple Leafs in the first round. But back to the Bruins. This was their last dance. Patrice Bergeron, we do not know if he's going to play another game. David Krejci, we do not know if he's going to play another game.
He could retire again in a heartbeat, and rightfully so.
This was their last dance moment, and they royally fucked it up. They had the 3-1 lead. Not just the 3-1 lead. You had 2 games at home to close it out. You had leaves in Game 6. Blew that.
Multiple leads in Game 6. They had 2 leads in Game 6.
3-2, and you go a goal with less than a minute left, and then you lose in overtime. And how about it's awful. Like, and then whenever a team loses a playoff series, we hear, oh, this guy was playing with this, and this guy was playing with that, and Bergeron, like, once again, this guy, I think he had a herniated disc, and
Rookie in the first round.
Linus Ullmark was injured that whole series, and it was only till Game 7 they're like, okay, let's start Swayman. But yeah, start him in a Game 7 when all the pressure is on Boston.
Wait. So I will admit, woke up late today. I must have missed a lot of this.
Yeah, you missed Snoop Dogg maybe buying the Senators.
I did, and shame on me for that.
Honestly.
Wait, so we're still doing this bullshit of it's the playoffs, play injured, don't think about it, because I think if Ullmark was injured, congratulations. That's probably why you just fucked up one of the best season in NHL history.
From points wise, yeah.
I can bet you Swayman plays that series healthy, fresh off the regular season. I bet you they close that out in 6. There's now. Okay, fuck. Ullmark in Game 6. That explains quite a lot. Fuck.
And then Bergeron was injured, and the games he was out, they were 3-1. As soon as he got back, I think they lost 3 straight.
I forgot. Yeah, he was injured early on. Of course, he just played through it. Yeah, that's
the thing that's frustrating with the Bruins. This isn't.
Bergeron makes sense. He adds more to the lineup even when he's injured. You do not play an injured goalie. Look what happened to Tampa in 2015. Vasilevsky could have held his own in that series. Everybody knows it. He held his own when he played, and that was out of nowhere, completely cold, no feet not even warm in the slightest. And he held his own against the Chicago Blackhawks in the Stanley Cup Finals in a crucial game. Granted, they lost, not his fault. That's just a playoff game between 2 Titans.
Rory Crawford was just better.
I'm sorry. Why are we still doing this? Why is this still happening? But you know what? Serves you right. You lost. Don't be stupid. Don't make dumb decisions based on injury in the playoffs, and it might actually benefit you. Yep. Crazy idea. But sorry, that's just
Bergeron being out. Bergeron is such a fucking good player. You were up 3-1 without having him in the lineup. Did you have to rush him back? No.
I think, dude, that team does not. He adds a lot to the lineup even when he's injured. I understand. I'm not as much against that. Again, I do think you shouldn't play with injury in the playoffs if it's bad enough. And we all know the difference between just a small injury, maybe a fracture or something, just a little pain.
Hey, my toe on the way.
Players can play through that. Something's like herniated disc. Sit the fuck out.
Broken anything, don't play.
Sit out. Don't play hockey. Don't do it. It's not good for you. And it's probably not going to be good for your team. Again, I understand. I understand that he still adds to the lineup, but factor in that if you give him some time, maybe he's in better shape. And also, he has a life outside of the sport, and this is not a smart thing to do. But again, I digress. The Ullmark one bothers me, and I think that it probably bothers a lot of Bruins fans, and I would assume so.
And rightfully so. That probably cost him.
Yeah, rightfully so. Yes, dude, don't play an injured goalie in the playoffs. You have two capable goalies. Yes, one is going to win the Vezina outright. Just had one of the best years in recent history for a goalie. He's injured. Don't play him. I will shut up for good. I'm sorry. The playoff.
Look, it's totally good on the Bruins that they lost, and I just want to say to the Florida Panthers, I totally writ them off. I'm like, Boston is going to sweep this 1-4, and they were up 3-1. Like, I was right to think
Holy
that
shit.
Boston was going to close this out quickly.
If you didn't count out Florida at that point, you're an idiot. If you didn't think Boston was going to close that out, you're crazy. And
Here's what my
crazy,
thinking was.
The crazy happened.
Here's
You would have been crazy to say that.
Here's what my thinking with the Panthers was coming to the playoffs, that they had to make the playoffs because the Blackhawks beat the freaking Penguins. Like, I couldn't take them seriously, but every game they got better. Matthew Tkachuk he's a fucking stud. He should get
a player.
If Connor McDavid wasn't the best player to ever play, like he'd have my heart vote. Like, he was that good. He willed that team to a win, and not just him. Like, Brandon Montour had a huge breaking out that series. I think he had 4 or 5 goals, including 2 in Game 7, 1 to tie it, and Carter Verhaeghe
and absolutely nailed that shot. Split-second reaction type of one-timer from the bottom of the circles, claps it right the one spot Swayman doesn't have covered in the short side.
Carter Verhaeghe
for Brandon Montour. Let me pull up his stats real quick. Let me pull that up, Jamie.
I want to say this: Carter Verhaeghe clutch. Not only did he get the Game 7 OT winner, I completely forgot last year he had the Game 6 OT winner against the Capitals to get them to the second round. 2 years in a row.
We have an interesting little situation there. In 2 Game 6s, John Tavares has broken a playoff first-round curse against a Florida team. Carter Verhaeghe 2 years in a row scores Game 7 OT winners. It's like poetry. George Lucas, it rhymes.
It's like poetry. It rhymes.
Brandon Montour, 5 goals, 3 assists in 7 games. Disgusting. As a defenseman, for anybody who is not familiar with the Panthers, defenseman, 5 goals, 3 assists. Good stuff.
I remember when he was on Anaheim, I wanted the Blackhawks to get him so bad. Because
dude.
That 2017 run, they had so many good defensemen. They had Shea Theodore. They had,
Brandon I remember when he went to the Panthers, I said it, man. I'm like, that's a good pickup. That's a player who was very good when he first got into the league. He went to the graveyard of players in Buffalo. Let's see what happens in Florida. And Paul Maurice, look, I shit on Paul Maurice as much as the next guy.
Dude, there's a couple of coaches we gotta give them their flowers. Paul Maurice is one of them. Dave Hackstall is the other.
Dude, hats off to Dave Hackstall.
Because he had
not a Hackstall confirmed. Yeah. He is not a Hackstall, and Paul Maurice.
Oh,
man, does that guy know how to coach in the playoffs? Listen. He's not. He did not coach perfectly that series. He was not always, the smartest in his decisions, but
dude, they fucking won.
He fucking beat the best regular season team of all time. That is something to be proud of. By the way, Grubauer, 895 in the regular season, 926 against the Avalanche. Put that in your pipe and smoke in Colorado. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Yep. Pretty good stuff. Pretty fucking awesome first round. Like you said it, nothing like Stanley Cup playoffs, and here's proof of it.
Usually the first round is it's crack. It really is. There's 4 games on a night. You can switch during intermission. They actually did a pretty good job of spacing it out half by hour.
It was much better than usual. Yeah. Good. You did the bare minimum.
So much drama, tension, so many huge comebacks, and even though the games are going to start, there's going to be less games. Oh no, there's only 2 on a night. There's so many great series I'm looking forward to. Everyone's I want to see Boston, Toronto in the second round. Dude, I think Florida and Toronto is going to be just as much crack as Toronto and Boston would have been. It's going to be legitimately so much fun. Whoever the hell wins tonight between New Jersey and the Rangers, whoever wins and faces Carolina, that's going to be a great series. Dallas and Seattle, an expansion team is in the second round, and then you got Eichel versus McDavid in the West, and Stone versus Draisaitl. There's just, I think I saw this thing. The most recent Cup champion out of those teams is Carolina when they won in 2006. There's 3 teams that haven't won it, and then there's teams that haven't won since the early '90s, and then of course there's the Leafs.
Yep.
Anyways,
I've been one since a time.
before the moon landing, even that was a while ago, but just
Hell,
incredible hockey.
that doesn't hurt as much. It doesn't hurt as much, Pierce. It hurts a lot less to hear 67 now.
I bet it does. Like
It's like therapy. It really is. We've broken down some of the trauma. We've made a step. Okay, let's keep going.
Did you see that one thing? It's like everyone's favorite hockey joke is now gone. It was Maple Leafs haven't won a playoff series in 19 years. There is still 1967, but it's just like
It's not the same. It's not the same.
It don't hit like it used to. But
Yeah, because it's different now.
So when they win the cup, whenever that is, in the next
they'll
game,
lift it up. Am I right?
Shut up. No, knock it off, you. Knock it off.
You're gonna say they're not gonna lift it up, huh?
I don't know. I don't. If they're gonna lift it up, it's not gonna be that wretched song. That's all I'm saying. Oh.
You know what? Let's talk about the Maple Leafs winning a playoff series.
Are we gonna make it about the? Are you gonna make it about the Leafs?
Dude, that is what I'm doing right now.
You are a madman.
I know. It's just being a Blue Jays fan. You know, I've got the Toronto Sportsbook now. I'm like, oh no, it's gotten to me.
By the way, to give a perspective on how much scoring is going up in the league, Rope Hintz had 12 points in the first round, leading all scorers. Then we have 3 11-point scorers after that. Jonathan Taves had 14 points in 2013, the entire playoffs. Ran a rough year for him. This is nuts, but you want to make it about the Leafs, go right ahead. We can start with Mitchell Marner being 4th in scoring, tied for 2nd in the first round, 11 points.
I said this in the predictions. I'm like, I said they're gonna win. Like they have to win. If they don't win, I don't know what the hell they're gonna do. But they did it. They did it.
I think I'll speak for myself, and I think a lot of Leafs fans would say the same thing. We didn't know what we were gonna do either. Like this was one of the weirdest situations they could be in. It would have been the most quiet, sad collapse of all time. A collapse to end all of the collapses. Or it was ripping the Band-Aid off in the most aggressive way. And, well, we know what they did. Just going to give you quickly, going to put this out there. Leaders in points for the Leafs in the first round. Marner with 11, Matthews with 9, Riley with 8, Tavares with 7, Ryan O'Reilly deadline pickup with 7, William Nylander with 7, and 3 for Matthew.
Happy birthday to William Nylander. I saw it was his birthday.
I did not notice that. Happy birthday.
Wow, some kind of Leafs fan you are, and I saw it.
Shut up. He's a little princess. Be quiet.
I didn't realize O'Reilly had that good of a series.
7 points. Game tying goals. Just. Did you see Evolving Wild's tweet, either of you, where he's like looking at the I'm dumb. He's looking at his numbers and stats, and he's like, I just don't understand how the Leafs won. It's called clutch. It's how the playoffs work. You push
year,
through.
we're like, how do the Leafs not win? That's sports, man. That's the beauty. That's the frustration of it. You lose when you're supposed to win, and then you win when you're supposed to lose. Like the Leafs probably should have lost both games.
Sorry, 2014 Hawks Ducks. I bet you I could be wrong. As a fan just watching those games, the Hawks should not have won that series. If you're looking at should have, could have, Hawks got kicked up and down the fucking ice in Anaheim every single time. But it's not about that. It's about pushing through in the right moments. Leafs did that every single time. Late tying goals, 3-goal comebacks, winning 3 games in Tampa in overtime, just clawing and gnawing through the toughest place to play in the playoffs. Say that 3 times fast. And they did it. It's the playoffs, baby. It's the fucking playoffs. That's how it goes. It goes how it's not supposed to go.
And there's been so much of all the refereeing. Like, no one is saying that the refereeing is good. Like, it's awful. Like, it just seems every year.
Brody should have had that the game 6. Should have been a high stick on Brody. No question. no question. At the same time, I'll find you about 15 other plays in that same series that should have gone for either team. It's the fucking playoffs, and it sucks. It happens. You don't think like learning about the Gretzky high stick wasn't one of the most frustrating things as a Leafs fan? Learning about that.
Wait, when did this happen? I haven't learned about that. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but you get over it. And I know I'm going to be frustrated when these things come up. I think every fan base has the right to be frustrated, but you gotta know that at the end of the day, you just gotta get over it. No matter how frustrating it is the playoffs, and eventually you just gotta get over it because it is the ultimate coulda, shoulda, woulda. It's the playoffs.
That's what's so dramatic about it. And I think it's the most, like, again, the refs suck. No one is saying they're good. They're absolutely awful. But I think it's the biggest loser mentality when you see these things like, oh, these referees are playing tonight and this team is blah, 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 this record and against that. And then the team's like, oh, here we go again. We're going to lose this game. Like, it's just that's such a loser mentality. Like, if your team is good enough, they'll probably win. Like, if you're relying on your ref, like a one power play to win you a game or one call to go your way or not go the other team's way, like
Leafs fans are the only ones that have been allowed and should have been allowed to get to tweak out over small shit because it always costs. It always costs the Leafs. We know this. But you're Tampa. You're the Tampa fucking Bay Lightning. You have won 2 cups in the last 3 years. They were back to back. You lost in the finals by the skin of your teeth last year. Fuck, dude. What are you fretting over? You got it all. Like, I just, personally, I can't get that. A penalty would have been called on Brody. Yes, that should have been a penalty. Leafs could have killed that off. They sure. It's so. I don't want to dwell on it too much, but yeah, it's the fucking playoffs. This shit, for better or for worse.
No one's crying for you, man. Like, you get paid the big bucks. Like, go out there and produce, and if it's one power play that's fucking you over at the end of it, like, I don't know. It just. And
most importantly, Corey Perry is not in the fucking Stanley Cup Finals, baby. We got that motherfucker out. Yes, sir. Woo! Never come back. Please and thank you.
Oh, he is staying in. He's a cockroach.
Oh, in the finals? Stay out of the finals. You don't. No, not your cup. Hands off.
It's actually he's like the one guy who's gone to like 4 different teams now and lost the Stanley Cup final with like each team he's gone to the finals with. Just brings me so much joy.
3 years. He put his hand on the cookie jar 3 times and they smacked his hand away. They said, "Stop it. That's not for you." And now he's going to stay in Tampa. He's not going to stop playing, but no cup for you. Knock it off. Hands off. That's Seattle's. That's our Kraken's cup, obviously.
No, it's the Leafs now.
In all seriousness, I am curious. What do you guys think? Who do we? If we're just going off this insane fucking first round just ended, who are your guys pick still for the cup?
I still gotta go with the Oilers, man.
What is your Oilers?
So, like, in my bracket, my Stanley Cup final was Boston beating us.
No.
Really, Boston's not winning it anymore. So,
yeah.
But I don't know.
My Stanley Cup final hinges on tonight because I had the Rangers and the Oilers in the Cup final.
Ooh, okay.
See,
okay, I like that. McDavid, Shesterkin. Oh, baby.
I was thinking maybe they're having such a hard time putting the Devils away. I don't know if they're going to be far enough.
Reagan, I've been saying the same thing. Like, you're doing this. This is the Devils you're doing this against. And I understand they had a great season. Lindy Ruff does know, he's been around. He knows how to. He's coached in the playoffs before. Clearly, he's. I'm not saying his team isn't very talented, but hats off to him. He's bringing forward a group the way they should. It's not as much the Devils being great. Rangers are going to sleep, man. What is going on with Panarin?
Yeah, they made all these like insane like moves at the deadline. They picked up Tarasenko. They picked up Kane. They have Panarin. They have
Patrick Kane's fault, guys. Like,
yeah, listen, you guys know how I feel about Patrick Kane. Putting the blame on Patrick Kane is just objectively untrue. Like, this whole team's got problems right now. You got Zibanejad and Panarin were not showing up when they needed to. Tarasenko.
What did last year,
Yeah.
man? Like, what the hell? Like, I don't. That's what I don't get.
Yeah, I'm not trying to get on Kane's coattails. I'm not trying to be, jump in front of him like, what's the Simpsons character with the Elon Musk meme, fucking like criticism for Elon Musk jumping right in front of it. Like that's not. I don't want to be
legitimate criticism.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I feel like anybody who listens to this podcast is chronically online enough to get that, maybe. But yeah, I'm not trying to defend this guy like he's Jesus or something. But Rangers fans, this whole team's got problems, and the ones who fucking know it, you know it. Like you said, Pierce wears Panarin back of a milk box. Kreider is only, while he was very cute in the first 2 games, he's only scored in the power play. That cannot be your way of scoring. And how many times have they scored in the last? Yes. I'm not jumping in front of a gun for Patrick Kane. But yeah, this whole team, issues up the wazoo. I believe they won 4 or 5-1 against the Devils last game. You pushed through at home, it's a great sign, but you scored 1 goal in the 3 games before it. You better hope this last game is the same energy you're going into Game 7 with, because if not, man, that's a rough way to go out, man.
Second straight year, they've blown a 2-0 lead in the series, and this time it's not the Eastern Conference Final; it's the first round. I would say, an inferior opponent to the Tampa Bay Lightning of last year.
Yes, absolutely, not even close. This is a Devils team on the rise. Tampa was at their highest.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe not their highest. Maybe
It was still
it's Tampa. It's fucking Tampa. Like they were the reigning Cup champs. You get what I'm saying. I think anybody listening understands that.
I know what you're saying.
The Devils team is nothing. This is not the Devils pushing back hard enough. This is the Rangers not putting the neck on their enemy. You gotta. They always say it. You gotta step on the fucking neck. The playoffs are brutal. These are gladiators. You need to step on the fucking neck, and they didn't do it. And now you got the New Jersey Devils toyed with you for 3 games, allowed 1 goal from you guys. That's it. Again, that Game 6 needs to be your Game 7. New York's got to step on that neck. They got to do it, but I don't know. Man, I don't know if that team has that. I don't know if the Rangers have that killer mentality yet.
Yeah, I'm fully not 100% convinced they're gonna win tonight. It wouldn't surprise me if they won, but I'm not like super comfortable that I'm gonna put $2 that they might.
I'm not gonna lie. I think I'm putting money on New Jersey, man. I don't know. Lindy Ruff's got that team cooking.
I know.
He's got that team cooking. Guy who deserves a flower or 2 and might get all of them tonight. Lindy Ruff. Dude, the old heads, the old hockey men are doing their thing. Good for man, shit. Good on these ones. They're doing a damn good job.
We need the Rangers to win so they can make it to the Eastern Conference Final, and then we get a 2024 first. That's what.
It moves up like 10 spots or something.
Yes.
Blackhawks fans dancing at home for 10 draft spots. Oh yeah, baby.
Purely from a draft position, like draft pick perspective for the Blackhawks, it has to be a Florida.
I'm telling you, getting to cheer for a team, getting to cheer for a playoff round win, buddy, I can't wait till Chicago's doing it again. Holy cow, dude! It's a different feeling for the Leafs for obvious reasons, but just winning around it all, so fulfilling. And
it's been 8 years, and I'm not counting the bubble.
No, I was talking with my brothers about this the other day. That does not count. Those wins or that win that was you got into the playoffs. You won the play-in round. You have not won the playoff round.
Nice. You won 3 out of 4 games. Congrats.
Can't wait till Lucas Reichel's doing things, man. Can't wait. But those are all dreams and whatnot.
That's probably still like another 5 years away at least.
Yeah.
I say 3 only because I think teams just turn it around faster nowadays. I think with the way that Kyle Davidson's doing things, I think I really like his approach, man. I like my KDs. What can I say? Well, one of them is now
helping each other out, huh?
Let's see. So we're gonna get who would it be again? It would be Rangers and Devils face Canes.
I don't know. I kind of doubted the Canes too. I chose the Isles to win because they always seem to pull that kind of win out. But like I was pretty impressed by how the Canes got that done because they were down 1-0 coming to that Game 6 third period, and they didn't look back. They dominated the third, and then they won in overtime.
You know who burnt their flowers once again? And I'm so happy they did. Rick fucking Bowness. Fuck you, Rick Bowness. A very fuck you evening to you, Rick Bowness. Drove all of your players in Dallas mad. None of them like you. They all wanted you gone. You went to Winnipeg, one playoff round in, and you've already pissed off your captain royally. Looks so good on you. Looks so good on you.
Here's where I'm going to disagree a little bit.
Okay.
I'm glad that he did do that because Blake Wheeler.
I'm glad too. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Blake Wheeler.
I'm so glad he did that. I'm so glad that he is not off of fraud watch, because the way he pissed off those players in Dallas and the way he was throwing sticks off the bench and all, fuck off. Get over it. Get over it. And I believe Blake Wheeler said that after they lost to the Vegas Golden Knights, Rick Bowness didn't even address them. Couldn't even address his team after they lost a playoff series. Come on, man. You're a fucking head coach.
I don't know. I'm two sides to that. Like Rick Bowness, I don't. Sorry. I think you were frozen, Jimmy. Well, I'll just continue here. I think Rick Bowness did he isn't completely in the clear here, but I just feel all of Winnipeg's top players are just so whiny. Whether that is Blake Wheeler, Mark Scheifele, they just everything we've heard for the past few years of the stuff coming on the locker room, like Laine can't play with Scheifele because Wheeler wants to play with him, all that stuff. It just feels like it's the worst match made in heaven, and it's just a perfect storm. And gotta fix my Wi-Fi real quick. All right, Jimmy.
Oh,
no. Oh goodness. Well, I'll continue here. So I think we've touched on pretty much every series. Like I wasn't convinced that Vegas is they're a damn good team. Okay, Jimmy is back. Is your Wi-Fi good now? Okay, good.
hello.
What were you saying, Jimmy?
I don't think I was saying anything. I was just talking shit about Rick Bowness, and my Wi-Fi went out. I guess he had snipers on me.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I should probably stop.
Yeah, I think he. I don't know. He's a sneaky fella. He pissed off all those Dallas players. I bet he's got snipers on me or something of the sort. Obviously, that's not paranoia. No. All right, let's go. I'm gonna go through the. We talked about a little bit the cup droughts and lack of cup wins for the teams remaining. I'm just gonna go through those really quick. Florida Panthers have not won since ever, nor have the Kraken, of course. Golden Knights, no cup. Edmonton Oilers have not won since, I believe, 1990.
1990, yep.
1990.
Without Gretzky.
Rangers have not won without Gretzky. Mark Messier, masterclass.
Only person in NHL history to captain two different teams to a Stanley Cup. By the way.
Insane. All right. And we've got the Rangers, Devils, or Canes. Canes, 2006. I believe you mentioned that was the closest cup win.
That's like the most recent cup win out of the remaining teams.
Almost. Rangers had 94.
94.
Rangers had 94. Devils' last cup win was 2003. Yeah.
Stars was 99.
Yes, sorry, I forgot to mention the Stars. Yes, 99. Against the Buffalo Sabres. It was against the Buffalo Sabres. Yeah.
Brett Hull, foot in the crease against Dominic Hasek.
It's always neat to see a team get their first, break a drought. Good, nice to see something fresh. Something before the 2010s. I like that. Mm-hmm. And it will be your If I'm going by who I think will win it, I'm going to be honest. I think Florida gets to the final.
They've been to the final before, 1996, but then they lost.
Man, I don't know. That first
Powerhouse
round,
now.
that team's got a fire under their ass. That team has energy. And I think they have the kind of energy that's going to get them far. Edmonton still worries me. The team, I would say Vegas. I don't trust their goaltending at all long term. You were blowing leads against Winnipeg. That is not an offensively gifted team.
Yeah, they
overall.
won in 5 games, but it wasn't like they dominated. And that's the thing. Like, it just that Vegas Winnipeg series was just so meh to me. Like,
Oh, that was the worst series by a mile. I watched one game, and I'm very okay with that. There was
funny enough,
nothing.
it was the only game series that wasn't 6 or more games.
Yeah, Vegas looked fraudulent in their first game, steamrolled the rest of it. Oh, well, not steamrolled. They did it again. Blew a 3-goal lead. That's not doesn't look good. Doesn't look good in the playoffs. I like Dallas, but
though, like
I would say you know what? Out of the West, I do like who's remaining in the West. I really do. I gotta go, man. Edmonton.
I still gotta go Edmonton. Like they're I'll say this, they're not a perfect team, but when you have the 2 best players on planet Earth, like their defense, like they're so much better than they were last year. And like Stuart Skinner, he had his moments. Like Jack Campbell had to come in and win a game, and everyone's thinking about the goal where he broke his stick while trying to pass the puck. Like it's really just,
oh my god, that is. I've seen criticism of that. You're ridiculous if you're mad about that.
It's really like in the moment. Obviously,
his stick broke. What are you gonna? Like, this shit happens. Crazy happens in the playoffs. That happened. They dealt with it. They won.
That's the big thing. These things can happen, but if you just like if you don't fight back and you let that get the best of you, then you're a loser. Like there's no other way to put it. They battled back. They won that game, and Skinner still stopped 40 of 44 shots. People are gonna forget that. Like he's gotten better as the series has gone along. So have the Oilers. It's funny enough. I think the Oilers went 11-7 when they were down 2-1, and that means more Draisaitl and McDavid together, and they just torched the Kings. And the Leafs did the same thing.
I hope they play each other again next year. Like those teams are a lot of fun to watch. LA
Kings, Oilers. That is not the last time we see those 2 teams play
so
each other.
Good. 2 best players in the world with lots of weapons now against a team that is just loaded with offense.
Because the Oilers are going to be good for a long time just by fact of McDavid and Draisaitl, and the Kings are going to be good for a long time.
Who would have thought we'd been even thinking that halfway through the year?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they figured it out. And I will say, a lot of us were saying this middle of game 6 or game 4. Game 4, other game in LA. After that second period, man, like Cody Ceci cannot be in your top 4 going forward.
I think you mean the first. The first they were down 3-0. I thought they were done. I thought LA just had them figured out. Like I didn't think they were going to lose the series right then and there. I thought maybe Edmonton wins game 5, then LA finishes in 6. I just thought it would have been so hard for them to come 3-1 back. But just the way they turned things around, they won that game overtime, won in Edmonton in game 5, and then they come into LA, steal a game on the road. Because, again, evenly matched, but I just felt LA was going to win that game. But Kyler Yamamoto just puts a floater on net with 3 minutes left. Oh, my God. And then right after the game, I hear honking right down the streets after they won the game. It was awesome. Like,
really,
I want to see the Oilers win because I want to be in a city that has a championship like that, a Stanley Cup championship. That'd be so cool. Oh. But yeah, I'm still going with the Oilers in the West. Like, they got their problems, but just the adversity they dealt with the Kings being down in that series and down in that game, and
we saw with the Blackhawks dynasty, they had that pushback. You're gonna have to make comebacks. Like it happens. With Vegas, it worries me in the sense that Winnipeg is as weak of a team as they are. With LA, you're gonna get caught in those holes at times. That's a team that they're gonna have a game or two where they pump a few on you, and if it happens, you got to be able to face that adversity. That's the difference between, a team, a playoff team, and a contender. They push through adversity. There you go. That's a
complain
great
and whine
sign
about it.
for a team that's still got a lot of young pieces, a very young goalie, a team that's still figuring it out quite a bit. That's a huge step. Yeah, those are my 3 cents.
I think we've pretty much touched on all the series. I think. The second round. So yeah, it'll be Oilers Golden Knights. It starts in Vegas. I think the Oilers are winning the cup this year, and I think they pull this out in 6 games again. Vegas does have the defensive structure to kind of withstand McDavid and Draisaitl. The Kings did a pretty good job. They did an amazing job. Philip Deneau did a great job of shutting down McDavid, but then Draisaitl just ate Kopitar that line alive. Like,
oh, did he?
There's just Leon Draisaitl. We always who are the best players you want in the clutch? Like, McDavid is certainly there. Like, McDavid just has such a high standard of greatness that we look at that series. I'm like, he has still more to give, even though he was like point per game. But Draisaitl he has that.
Isn't it crazy? This guy's playing over a point per game, and we're worried about how injured he might be.
He had 10 points in 6 games.
Oh, wow. Gotta worry going forward, Pierce. Gotta really keep an eye on that. I will say, though, Korpisalo definitely didn't have the best series.
I would at the beginning, but he really dropped the ball towards the end.
Brisebois, not sold on him, but I am sold on Vegas' scheme. I am sold on their team. Bruce Cassidy. Yeah. Yes, I am sold on Cassidy and his work. So I think that's going to be a challenge for Edmonton for sure. But I think the way they figured out LA, I think they can figure out Vegas.
They made adjustments. Like LA, I thought it did a pretty good job of like eliminating. Like they got killed on the power. Edmonton was 9 for 15 on the power play. That's 60%. It was pretty much automatic. They were going to score on the power play if you get one, as close to automatic as you could get.
Man, best power play of all time. It's the best power play ever put to ice. By statistic, by fucking by numbers this season, they were the best power play of all time.
I think they were like 32 or 33%, which pretty much give them 3 power plays a game, they'll score at least 1.
Literally, the team is so good. The team is so fucking good when they're good, dude. And everyone with a brain wants them to go far too.
It'd be good for the sport of hockey if they do.
So good, dude. We need McDavid in the finals.
At least in the finals.
No. He has made it to the conference. We need him in the finals. This sport needs him in the finals. I don't know. Like, we don't know if it's going to happen. I seems a bit likely, but the sport needs it. If it not this year, please somewhere in the next 1 or 2. The sport needs it. McDavid Matthews, can you fucking imagine?
Oh my God. Edmonton Toronto Stanley Cup final. Oh goodness! I have no words for that. Like
that is lunchtime for David Kampf. That is lunchtime for David Kampf. McDavid, you are getting boxed in by David. Look out!
What's the thing? It's like lunchtime, and it is
literally lunchtime. Every time he gets on the ice with Kampf, it is lunchtime for Kampf, baby. Oh, it is too easy.
David Kampf, Stanley Cup games, final game 7.
Samsonov Skinner would be like the worst matchup since 2010 for sure.
Yeah, the Oilers. I have them in 6 over Vegas.
That's
Vegas. They don't impress me too much. Like, yeah. What y'all thinking about that?
Oh man, I think that one goes 7. I think Oilers and Knights go 7. Off the top of my head, I'd say that goes 7. Just very heavy teams. Edmonton, offensively stacked, fast, relentless on offense, really quick at moving the puck, and Vegas loves to slow it down. Still good in transition, but loves to slow it down. I think it's going to be very interesting. I think it's going to be very Toronto-Tampa, because Tampa does have speed, but they definitely play
Well,
a
because
slow game.
they were clogging the neutral zone. They were like Toronto had trouble figuring that out until they got to Tampa, like game 4.
I can't say I know Vegas the best overall. I didn't watch a lot of their series. That was the one series besides.
Oh, I did not give a shit.
I'm not even. Yeah, I'm not gonna act like I'm a genius. This whole fucking playoff series, I just straight up did not watch that series. But from what I see from Vegas in general, that's another team that loves to clog it up, loves to make you slow you down and play at their pace. I think it's going to be really cool to see how those two match up. I think that's going to go the full 7. Just those teams are just that good. So I think that's going to go the distance. Seattle, Dallas, I think. Oh man,
I love
you can't cut out the Kraken. You really cannot.
Yeah.
Dude, the Crackheads are wild. The Crackheads are going crazy. It is. I want to say that Dallas would teach them how the playoffs work. Shouldn't Colorado do that? Shouldn't that be what Colorado does?
Yeah.
And they didn't. They couldn't. Yeah, Nichushkin was out. Landeskog was out. Fucking hell. On paper, you're still better.
Okay,
You
you
should.
still have McCarr, you still have McKinnon, you still have Rantanen, you still have they could have easily won that series.
Say there's
Yeah,
those names are not as well known, but you got Newhook, you got Comfort. Wait, was Comfort?
That was ultimately what outdid them. Like they had no goals from their bottom 6. Like all their big guys were getting it done. Like Devon Toews was really good as well, but they got.
We talk about.
What?
Everyone talks about it. You gotta have depth scoring in the playoffs, and when you don't have that, that's what. Look at Seattle. That team is top to bottom. They got guys.
We said this in the playoff preview. Seattle does not have a first line, but they don't have a fourth line either. They have 2 second lines and 2 third lines.
Mm-hmm.
They just roll at you in waves, and they get good goaltending now, and that's how they won. And they can do that against Dallas.
This team is what Vegas thought they were in 2018. This team is what Vegas was in a bottle in 2018. They didn't do it. From then on, it was obviously that didn't happen as much or as well. But, man, that is a team that just top to bottom. You said they don't need a top line. This team is just baby fat, gone, muscle everywhere.
I was listening to the Dangle podcast, and they're like, well, it's probably why Vegas and Seattle have flourished, how Vegas flourished in the first year and Seattle has flourished this year, because there isn't a designated first line. No one feels pressured to be the star. The Kraken have great players like Jared Colorado fans complain, oh, we didn't get depth goal scoring, oh, we had guys out. Seattle probably didn't have their best player with Jared McCann, but they still won. They still figured it out. Again, playoffs, too bad.
There you go. They didn't have I completely forgot. Didn't have your 40 goal scorer. Didn't have your fucking
Andre Burakovsky was out too.
Best scorer. There's no excuse for Colorado. I know Landeskog was out. I know Nichushkin was out, but this is a wild card team in their second year that lost their best scorer pretty quickly into the series. You have to capitalize, and you didn't. Just got to be better if you're Colorado. I think it's look at 2011. Sometimes you just no. See, that's the thing. I want to point to 2011, but that was a gutted Hawks team. That's just
that 2011 Hawks team gave that Canucks team all.
This is a pretty disappointing loss for Colorado. No, I mean Georgiev was not a step down from Kemper in any way whatsoever. He has not been.
Georgiev was not the problem. He was I think he was underratedly good. It was their
George. He didn't George. I think he was named fucking George. Fucking George. Georgiev. Yeah, was more than capable enough. Not a problem. Liability whatsoever. Was very solid.
He did his part.
The team just didn't get it done.
You got him to game 7, 1-goal game. Your offense could not score.
Yeah. And again, a lot of that's Grubauer fucking won that game. There's no doubt he stole that game. Maybe I guess it's tough to say, man. It played his ass off, that's for sure. He did his job. He's paid to do that, and he did that. Good. Colorado, it's disappointing. It's unfortunate and disappointing. Where's my pen? I want to smoke a pack.
Pack of fat lips. You know what? Dallas, Seattle.
I'm going to Seattle. I don't give a shit.
Seattle and 7, baby.
Seattle and 7. Yeah. This team, man, they clawed. They did it all season. They're still doing it. They just claw their way in, man. I love it. That's why you saw, like, when they play the Hawks, that's why the reason they would kill the Hawks is, first off, their speed game, of course. But the Hawks always had a fourth line in a weaker third line to shut down with most teams. That entire team comes at you all game, every line. So those weak, a team like Seattle, I would like more against a weaker team because they just don't stop. They constantly have you going. And I think, personally, unless the Hawks get a Fantilli or Bedard, build your team more like Seattle, quite honestly.
At least for the time being. Before
That's exactly.
And the thing about Seattle is they have.
You want to get a Fantilli or a Michkov or a Bedard, and whether this draft or later, but right now, for the next 3-4 years, fuck it, man. Like, you can build like Seattle. You can morph into a team like Tampa in time. Just get a team that's just rolling all the fucking time, man. I know this is the most stoner thing I've said, I know. But I really do believe there's like something to be said about balance with teams and how you roll out your lines because, I'm sorry, look at Boston. What did you get from your bottom lines?
Squat.
Nothing.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. The Hawks were getting Michael Frolik goals in 2013 against the Wild. They were getting, I believe Kruger got his first goal in the playoffs that year. Again, need a deep team. Seattle, just by design, the definition of deep and fleshed out team. Just fucking love it. It's so good to see them do well. Sorry, I'll shut up. I love how that team looks in their jerseys. I love how they look when they play. I love the fan base. I love the energy. It is fucking great to see this team doing well. This makes up for Vegas. Thank you, Batman. But whatever. Go crackheads. Go Kraken.
I was gonna say something, but I lost my. That's what I was gonna say. Seattle, they're doing good this year, but this isn't like everyone on their team is veterans. They still have young, like Matty Beniers. He's gonna be a stud first line center. They still have Shane Wright, who I don't understand.
That's where you're building your first line is Matty Beniers.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
They have a bunch of prospects. Like they're gonna be good for a long time. Like this is not the last two that we've seen of them. And is that Cosmo?
It is Cosmo.
Let's go!
Cosmo.
But
Cosmo, you ready to celebrate? He's so pudgy. I love him.
I know.
We gotta get a picture of them and
that's a fleshed out puppy. That's a fleshed out puppy right there. Holy moly!
I think we gotta make a picture of him saying "Let's Cos go."
You're such a dork.
You're such a dork.
You're a dork, dude.
You're kind of dorky. Okay, let's talk about the Leafs and Panthers. What we think is happening. Reagan, we have to ask you what your predictions are. What do you think wins the Oilers Golden Knights series? Who do you think wins the Kraken Star series? If we're talking too much, never feel afraid to interject.
No, you're good. I have Oilers. But...
So we literally talked. Yeah, I do. Yeah, if I'm talking too much, just look at me, tell me to shut the fuck up. I'll listen. I'll just okay.
You guys are totally okay. Yeah, I have Oilers winning, and then for Dallas, Seattle. Really want Seattle to win, but I think I have Dallas. At least my bracket. So my bracket says Dallas, but my heart says Kraken.
Hell yeah, I love that. That's a good answer. That's a great answer.
I'm going the Kraken. I don't care. Like,
I won't lie though. I feel like I should be saying the same thing. Man, Seattle just the way they clawed, man. Like that's what Minnesota did to Dallas. It just kept fighting. I feel like Dallas is probably worn down quite a bit. They even have their captain.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, all 7 games of that series, Seattle scored the first goal.
Interesting.
And I saw the last time that happened. Guess this: 2004. Toronto Maple Leafs.
Did you say 6 games? Did you say how many games?
Yeah, 7 games. The second team in NHL history to score the first goal in a 7-game series.
Oh, no, I mean Reagan. How many games do you think they do it in against the Kraken? I think she said. I'm making sure I didn't forget because my.
Oh, I don't think I said anything. Yeah, like 6 or 7.
Yeah, that's like Dallas. If they're gonna get it done, they're gonna get it done quicker.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like that's the thing too. If Dallas lets it get Like, the longer they give Seattle life, the more fucked they are. Because that's what Colorado did. They didn't put the foot down on the neck. Just get rid of them. Stomp on the cockroach. Just enough. They couldn't do it in Game 4 when you're going back and forth and back and forth. If Seattle starts getting them going back and forth, ooh boy. Plus, I think, okay. This is why I want to hear yours on Reagan. Leafs Panthers.
Leafs.
I gotta go with the Leafs, man. Like I
Leafs.
feel.
We never even got to this one. None of us got to this one. Yeah.
Well, we're saving it for last, obviously.
Yeah.
I've never felt
think
so accepted as a
honestly-
Leafs fan in my life on this podcast. It's incredible. I don't have this. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry, I'm reveling in this fucking weekend. It's amazing. It's so
Dude, you
good.
should, man. Like, we make fun of the Leafs all the time, and we still will. But they're the low hanging fruit. But like, I was genuinely excited to see it. I was genuinely excited to see them win. Like,
I
it was
feel like we all love the Leafs, but we just also love making fun of them.
Dude, they're the Cowboys of the NHL in the sense that, dude, their fan base fucking sucks, and there's not really like. They're also heralded by the country as like the nation's team.
Yeah,
They
that's kind
get
of
that in Dallas. They get that in sorry, Chris, I didn't
I
interrupt
was
you there.
gonna say it's like the Yankees in baseball, except the Yankees have actually
Cheers.
won.
Now that you're into baseball, that's exactly what it is. It is the Yankees of baseball. Exactly. And it sucks, man, because I don't see myself as like a toxic fan in any way. I do see a lot of
Trust me,
Leafs
there
fans.
are so
I see-
many fans.
I see what they are on Twitter.
But
So
also the whole like the fan bases with sports of any kind or really anything that has a fan base, the bigger like name, like whether that's a celebrity or singer or band, the bigger there are, the more idiots they're gonna be. But there's gonna be good people in too, but the idiots are always gonna take up the attention. So that's what yeah, and that's the case with the Leafs. Like there isn't gonna be as many idiots as the Florida Panthers. Sorry, as the Toronto Maple Leafs. There's gonna be a lot of idiot fans, but there's also gonna be a lot of great fans that have waited almost 20 years to witness their team even win a playoff round. And I feel great for
started
those
well.
fans.
Curtis, Steve, those are two guys that are just rabid fans, and yeah, they're a bit much for people. Totally understandable, but you can't deny that these are just two dudes that love their team, love the sport, love the enjoyment of it. Fuck, dude, it's great. But sorry, I did interrupt our predictions and our conversations.
I don't know, the Leafs just feel like kind of the 2018 Capitals in a way, where you beat the Demons of the first round, and now like when the Capitals beat the Penguins, like they carried that all the way to a cup. I don't know if the Maple Leafs are going to do the same, but I think they can definitely beat the Panthers.
Uh-huh.
You know what? I'm going to go 7. Like I think it goes 7. It's going to be a chaos series. I think.
I don't think Florida's not going out easy at all. Look what they did in Boston. Again, we talked about the injuries. That is not to take away from anything the Panthers did that series. They should have, could have, and would have been out in any other series ever. Almost ever. But they kept fucking fighting. Little cat pun for you guys. They clawed their way through the bottom.
Oh, hey, you gotta be kidding me here.
Anything. I will. I'm not afraid to make a little heisty joke here and there, a little feisty little silliness. But yeah, Toronto's not getting out of this one simply. This is not a cakewalk by any means, and I do not envy any team that's playing. I don't envy any team that's playing Toronto right now that just got past the first round after 7 years. I also think that I don't envy any team that plays the Florida Panthers right now. These are two feisty fucking teams.
Feisty ass teams.
Seriously.
Defeated the juggernaut, the Boston Bruins, and then the Leafs beat the team that went to 3 straight Stanley Cup Finals and won 2 of them.
Mm-hmm. Like the
Two
Montreal
teams that kind of have been the butt end of the joke. Like before last year, Florida went 26 years without winning a playoff series. Like, and the Leafs almost won 20. It's cool to see both those teams in the first round or in the second round. Sorry, I'm so used to it being the other way around. In the second round, and I feel like they're gonna claw at each other. But in the end, I think the Leafs will rake away the Panthers.
because the Panthers have the claws and they're Leafs. Why would they the Panthers are not Leafs.
Dude, I tried to make a joke.
I keep telling you, Panthers are not Leafs.
You're right.
Just-
They aren't the Leafs. They are the Florida Panthers. Ain't that wild? And I'm not talking Minnesota.
You ever seen a Panther in person, dude?
Yeah.
Oh, actually.
No, I haven't. I was just trying to be cool.
Well, that's probably because they're government-issued camera animals, like the birds.
Oh, like the Burbs, the
Like the
patient.
birds, yeah. Well, the birds are. What's that silly Reddit? Birds are robots or whatever. Birds are. It's some bullshit. And they had the guy who believed that they had him on like. It wasn't Fox News. It was like some sports.
Tucker Carlson, the
Well, they had
Eminem
him on a news
going
thing.
woke.
They had him. They had the guy who had the birds are robots movement or whatever, and they had him on a news channel, and he like
Well,
threw
he's
up like
just
10
like-
seconds in from anxiety.
Development platform.
Birds
Oh,
are
well,
robots interview.
well, you know what? I appreciate
Birds aren't real. Birds aren't real. That's what it is. Birds aren't real interview. I need to find this. If not now, you can fill my airtime if you don't mind. You know.
Leafs in 7. And I think Carolina beats either the Rangers or the Devils. You know what?
I found it. Hey, go ahead.
Are you gonna play it?
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Keep going.
Oh, I was gonna say, I think in the conference final for the East, we're gonna have a rematch way back to 2002. I think we're gonna have Toronto, Carolina, and in the West,
Ooh.
I
Think
think,
Max Lean's gonna step on the ice. He's gonna score a goal.
and
And then Joe Burrow's gonna say, "These guys have hearts of lions."
then Arthur's Urbe is gonna come in and then shut out all the games and they'll lose. That's what happened. I'm pretty sure. And then the West, Edmonton, Seattle, baby, let's go.
Can you imagine, dude?
No, I ain't imagining that's happening. That's what's happening. That's what's good.
Can you imagine? Like I'm Gal Gadot.
For real. You should make a video about that.
I should sing. I should use my beautiful voice, don't I?
Guys, it's so hard for the pandemic. Let's just all get through this together. That as I show up, panoramic view of my $10 million mansion and swimming pool in the mountains. How do we get to this point? I don't know, but hockey is fun. The playoffs are fun. The New Jersey New York game starts soon. I think it's a good place to wrap things up here. Do we have any final thoughts before we go? Or can we end this off?
I'm just happy to say I feel the fucking passion, baby. I feel the fucking passion.
Well, that's cool. Anyways, Oilers are winning the cup.
Leafs in 7.
I genuinely don't know. I don't know who's gonna win the cup. That's what makes it so fun. Like it just feels so wide open now.
Doesn't it feel fresh? It feels
Yeah.
fucking fresh. No Tampa.
No Tampa.
Tampa
Pittsburgh.
one was finals and 2 cups going back 3 years. And before that, they were always in contention. So that's a team that's not there. That's a huge contending team that's not in the picture. The Penguins aren't in the mix.
No Capitals.
Capitals aren't in the mix. They never were.
No Bruins.
Leafs got past the first round. The Panthers are in the mix. The new team, the Kraken, are in there. Dallas is a little bit of the old, but they haven't really won anything in the last 20 years, so 24. So I don't think they're really they don't feel that out of place, because like we talked about, all these teams, all teams needing to get their first cup or get it back for the first time in over 15 years.
The most recent one was the first year.
17 years ago. 17 years ago. 17 years ago. That's the last time one of these teams won a cup. All of them have something to prove.
That was the first year I watched hockey. It's the
What
most
did you
recent
do,
time.
man?
Sorry?
Do you hate these teams in particular?
Do I
Is that
hate
your-
teams?
Did you put a curse on all these teams when you got into
Yeah,
hockey?
that's,
to
that's
win a cup
exactly
again?
what it is, and I ended it this year.
You were like, Vegas team? Fuck them. They can.
Oh, yeah, me as like a 5-year-old. You know what? I think there might be a team in Vegas and Seattle. We got, yeah.
Drew came to you and you were like, okay, it's one wish, but if I pick a bunch of teams and wish for it once, is it one wish? And he was like, fucking fine, I guess, fuck. And then that's why Carolina's never going to win a cup again. Way to go, Pierce.
You
I wonder if
know,
this is how they did the Cubs curse. They like talked it out. It couldn't have been like it had to be a curse. Like someone had a genie in a bottle.
okay, before we end this off, I have to make this note. Everyone was like, "Oh, the Leafs are over celebrating winning a first round," and I think the Leafs are spectacular, kind of like bad franchise. Like their misfortunes are a special kind. The closest thing I can think of, like sports team, is the Chicago Cubs before they won a few years back. Like, just it wasn't that they lost; it was how they lost. Like the Cubs, I always think of the Steve Bartman incident, even though he didn't do anything wrong. Like it's just an unfortunate play. Like they were 2003, they were up 3-1 against the Marlins, and then they blow that game. Game 6. Not only that, they lose in Game 7. Like just the way that the Cubs didn't win for so long, didn't even like get to a World Series for so long, and then they finally did it after 100 and something years. It's funny looking at some of the droughts in baseball. The Leafs have the longest drought, 56 years. Like there's teams, I think there's like multiple teams that went like almost 100 years without drought. It's crazy. Anyways, and the point I wanted to make was Leafs fans are celebrating that. We've talked about how when the Raptors won, like the city of Toronto did not know how to handle a parade. When the Blue Jays won the ALDS against the Texas Rangers, like the city went crazy, and they're gonna remember that forever. If the Toronto Maple Leafs win another playoff round, they get to the Stanley Cup final and they win, like that parade is gonna be crazy. Like
Something else.
yeah. I'm pretty sure the biggest parade in North America was the Cubs when they won. I think it's gonna be right close to it.
Oh no! I'm sorry, dude. It's gonna be way more. Like Toronto.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Dude, it's gonna be no. I love you. I have a huge soft spot for the Cubs. As a kid, I cheered for them quite a lot. As I got older, it wasn't into baseball as much. I guess I passed it on to you or something.
yeah.
But that celebration when the Cubs won was really special, just for the city. You know, it's a special moment. Yet, that moment will always be sacred to me. And man, Toronto,
I remember watching that game. I was watching it with a bunch of friends, and we went crazy at that final out.
They had fuckers in Alberta here.
Yeah.
Watching
One of my friends, he was a Cubs fan because his parent or I think grandparents or great grandparents were from Chicago, and they moved over there because of work. So it was kind of like he was a Cubs fan passed down by family, and yeah, he was really excited when they won. So that happened. Anyways, I had to make it about baseball, of course.
Yeah, there's you gotta do.
Let's wrap this up. Let's wrap this up right now. Let's go watch some hockey. It's the last game of the first round. I think it's gonna be a doozy. I think it's gonna be a good one. Who do we think wins?
Okay. It's Rangers Devils. I think the Devs, man. I think the Devs are pushing.
Devils. Yeah, I think the Devils pull it out too.
I think, man, if I'm looking at the Leafs logo, if New York really was built for this, they would have taken care of it already. New York is not. They're not playing as they should. They're not in their game. New Jersey is just a hungry team. They're hungry. New York does not look hungry at all. I think New Jersey eats. And I think they will face the Carolina Hurricanes.
But
Whatever the fuck that
here's
starts.
the thing about the playoffs: things can change quickly. All it takes, it's not usually how many you get. It's usually about the timing.
Here's the craziest thing is the Leafs play tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. A second round game.
It's I can't fucking believe it. We go right on to the second round. I mean, they're trying to get the schedule fixed from when COVID fucked it all up. You gotta get things moving as fast as you can. But no, wait, didn't we have this problem last year? Where there was a second round game?
This year is probably the closest to normal we've had it since before COVID. But yeah, last year
there were some second round games happening. I think when there was a first round game 7 happening.
Remember in the bubble, like
there was
one, those fucking Flames and Canucks games that were being played, and they didn't start the North Division. So like Toronto, Montreal didn't play like almost a week into the actual playoffs, and then everyone was just waiting for the Leafs and Habs to finish that series up. Like,
Yeah. Ooh, this is perfect. Go right into the next one. Give us a couple days off. We're good. Here we go. May 2nd, and for the Kraken Stars and Panthers Leafs, and May 3rd, assuming the Devils and Canes play the same day as the Oilers and Knights. Wednesday, May 3rd. Oh man, it's going to be good. This is going to be good.
Still 3 rounds to go. All right, we'll end it off here. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being a listener. Thank you for being a friend, as the Golden Girls once said.
Thank you for bearing with us, quite honestly.
That's a great point. Thank you for bearing with us. So, yeah, thanks for tuning in. Enjoy your Monday night. Peace out.